This is the 195th Taiku. In the Babylonian Talmud, it appears in Tractate Shavuot, page 46b, according to the book by Rabbi Aharon Yehoshua Pessin. He wrote a book called Taiku, which compiles all of the unanswered and unresolved questions in the Babylonian Talmud. And he put them all together in one book called Taiku. And in his book, he lists 317 Taikus that occur in the Babylonian Talmud. And the tradition is that all of these unanswered questions will be answered at the advent of the coming of Messiah. And Elijah the prophet will answer these questions. This Taiku, the 195th Taiku, is in Tractate Shavuot, page 46b, with the words Amarava. Amarava, filu shomer nishba, filu ishtusha shomer nishbas, boira papa sichi roi, unikita mai Taiku. Okay? The oath of one who was robbed can be taken by others as well. Rava says, even a watchman at the house can take the oath. And even the wife of the watchman can take the oath. Rav Papa asks, with regard to the employer's regular hired worker or his regular harvester, who are not appointed to safeguard the employer's property, what's the halacha? Are they able to take the oath of one who was robbed? And the Gemara responds, the question shall stand unresolved until the coming of Messiah. I wonder if something like this ever happened, if this ever came up, and what would they say today if something like this happened? It doesn't seem very relevant. It doesn't seem that people take oaths for things of this nature during this day. But this is the 195th Taiku, and as of today, the 11th day of Tevet, a new idea came to mind, that a Taiku is an unresolved and unanswered question of the Babylonian Talmud, but I have plenty of my own personal Taikus. So the thought came to me that at the end of every Taiku, I can list my own question to which hasn't been answered and which I continue to seek an answer, and number it by the number of the Taiku that it is. I can identify the 195th. And it doesn't have to be, the number doesn't necessarily have to be connected to the question, although if it was gematriatically connected, that would be much better, but I think that would be too time consuming. It takes time to make a connection through gematria. So I'll start with just the questions that are on the top of my head. I have all the time, and I'll record them as today, Wednesday, December 31st, 2025, which is the 11th day of Tevet, 5786, Parshas Vayechi, and the Daf Yomi is Zevachim 108. I'll record the 195th Taiku of my own personal Taikus, which is, why is it that in the Babylonian Talmud, or the Jerusalem Talmud, there are two tractates that do not exist, that very well could and logically, reasonably should exist? One is Tractate Chanukah, Masechtas Chanukah. There is no such Masechta. And there have been reasons given. One reason that I can say, and then I recently heard that that isn't true. So I would still need to find out the actual reason for that. People say that since Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Rabbi Judah the Prince, as he is called, who redacted the Mishnah, was from the house of David. And you could say that he took umbrage to the fact, he took offense to the fact that there were priests which do not have the authority to become kings of Israel. And in the time of the Maccabees, when the Hanukkah story happened, the Maccabean family, the Hasmonean dynasty, assumed the role of kingship, which is forbidden or not allowed by Jewish law. So Rabbi Yehuda the Prince, being from the house of David, didn't recognize this enough to put it in the Mishnah. And I heard recently that that isn't true, that he wouldn't do something like that. Another group of Israel at the time, they were the righteous people, and they received a miraculous victory from God, and he wouldn't nix them, he wouldn't 86 them just because of that kind of a petty thing. So we're back to the same question then. If that's the case, that he didn't nix them, and there very well is enough material about Hanukkah to make even a small tractate. I mean, you have tractate Megillah, right? And that's about Purim, and it's not one of the larger Masechtas, but it has 30 something daf, something like that, 30 or whatever, around there. So why couldn't there be a very small Masechta, even if it's if Hanukkah has so little to talk about, at least make it like Horios for like 14 pages or whatever, 14, 13 pages, whatever. So that's. But the other question is, why is there's a second tractate that there very well could be a huge tome, huge volume. Is that Masechtas Mashiach? There's no tractate on the Messiah, and if it's true, and it is true, that it is stated in the Talmud that I think it's Rabbi Chia or Rabbi Yochanan, or it's just Rabbi Yochanan, I don't remember exactly now, but the quote is definitely that all the prophets, Kol Hanavim Kulan, Lo Nitnabu Ela Liyamot HaMashiach, that all of the prophets in their entirety prophesied not, but only for the days of the Messiah. If it's so important, the Messiah, why is there no tractate Messiah? So, Taiku number 195 listed in this is, and it happens to be that we're just coming, not too far away from Hanukkah. It was a week or two ago. Was about a week ago, yeah. Is it so? Week in a few days. So, Taiku 195 is, why is there no tractate Hanukkah or Mashiach in the Babylonian Talmud? Why is there no tractate? Did I say Taiku? Sometimes I have a habit of switching up words. Why is there no Masechta? Why is there no tractate Hanukkah or Mashiach in the Babylonian Talmud?